And I'm very happy to welcome Shauntee Burns-Simson to today's event. Welcome.
Hello, thank you so much for having me.
Now, Shauntee, it's 7 o'clock in New York City. I'm glad you are able to join us in the evening. For us, we're getting ready for dinner over here. So
Ready for my second dinner, to be honest with you. Have some chicken wings or something.
So everyone, please come on in and line up your questions and your chat. We'll try to stay in touch with you. Monitor the chat box here. I want to first introduce you all to Shauntee. It's my pleasure to have her with us today. As you know, or may not know, Shauntee is the Associate Director of School Support and Outreach for the New York Public Library. In her current position, she is responsible for connecting youth to the public library and its resources by serving as an ambassador for library and youth librarians. The other exciting part about Shauntee's career is that she is the 2020-2022 president of the Black Caucus of the American Library Association. In addition, she is also to leading BCALA. She chairs the American Library Association Office of Diversity, Literacy, and Outreach, and the Committee on Diversity. So Ms. Burns-Simson holds a fine arts degree from Long Island University and a Master of Information Science and Information and Library Science from Queens College. So Shauntee, welcome to you.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. I'm so happy to see all the great people in the chat. I got my VP, Nichelle M. Hayes. Tawana, I feel good.
So you were president of Black Caucus when the Black Caucus celebrated its 50th anniversary last year. And so how'd that go?
It went well. I mean, it's 50 years. It's something to be really proud about, you know, and we were anxiously, you know, waiting to see if we could meet in Tulsa, Oklahoma. We tried to push it off another year, but the pandemic still has not gone away. And so we had to pivot really quickly to a virtual space. And I just have to give kudos to the whole NCAL team. It was over 100 people that helped plan the national conference for African-American librarians. And so Tawana Hodge was one of them, chairing programs. We had over 5 days of programs and a pre-conference. So I really am proud of NCAL 11, and hopefully we will see each other in person for the next one.
That's great. Well, congratulations to BCALA and to you and your team. And that was quite a feat, as all of us have had to go through modifications at the last minute for our programming and things we do at our local libraries or the conferences. Even ALA now has a new, what is it called, LibX, a new approach for midwinter. So maybe I shouldn't call it midwinter, but a new way of bringing us all together virtually.
Right.
So Shauntee, we're going to talk with you about your leadership journey. And again, I appreciate you spending some time with us. So, you know, this is part of a program that we've got now. This is the 6th year in California. It's called Developing Leaders in California Libraries. And we have a cohort this year of 40 individuals who are going through some leadership training. And as part of that, we have a series called My Leadership Journey, which you're participating in today. And I think people are curious to know, you know, about your leadership journey and how you got to the situation that you're in now, not only at the New York Public Library, but also at the BCALA. Before you share your leadership journey with us, what is your, I guess, definition, or how do you define leadership? What is it about? Yeah, how would you define it?
I think a leader is someone who has the ability to influence and support growth. My best supervisors were the ones that encouraged me and saw the value in what I was doing. So I truly believe if you acknowledge people and see their strengths, they will accomplish even more because they know that their work is not being done in vain. I despise micromanagement. And I've had a lot of leaders who have had tried to, micromanage me. And that is like my pet peeve. And I never, ever want anyone to experience that. So I learned from my great supervisors. I've learned from my bad supervisors, because that let me know how I would not want to lead. So.
Yeah, I feel your pain, so to speak. I have had similar experiences, but we're going to talk a little bit later about mentorship and mentoring, because I think for me, and it sounds like for you as well, that there have been people who you've learned from, either because of, as you called it, the micromanagement, the bad lessons and the good lessons have been learned from the different types of styles that our supervisors have given to us. So let's
Yeah.
talk about your leadership journey. I understand you started at the library as a library page.
Yes.
Is that right?
That's absolutely correct.
So how'd you get from there to here?
That's a good question, actually. I'm telling you, it's a lot of support and people who really just encourage me. That's the God honest truth. So yeah, I started working in the library. It was supposed to be a summer job.
Mhm.
I was supposed to work just over the summer, and I never left. So I liked it, and I made more than the other teens that were working. If they were working at a fast food place on the mall, I was like, you know what, this is a good gig. So I stayed, right? And I worked in every level within the library. So I was a page, a clerk, part-time clerk. I was a librarian trainee. The library paid for me to get my library degree, and I'm just still so grateful for that, because I don't know if I would have gotten a degree if I wasn't part of the library trainee program. And then there was this IMLS grant for Homework NYC, and at that time, this is going to date me, we were creating widgets. So it wasn't even called apps. We were creating Homework NYC widgets, and it was in collaboration with the Brooklyn Public Library, Queens Public Library, and the Department of Education. And we were creating these widgets, apps that would help students get library resources from the websites that they were already on. So I'm talking about MySpace days, the early phase of Facebook. And we created about 3 homework apps, but because of the social media and the background always changing, they would stop working. We have to update it. It was an IMLS grant, but we learned a lot from it. And that was really the prerequisite for the My Library NYC program that I project manage now. And the My Library NYC program is also a Tri-Li initiative. So we work with Brooklyn, Queens, as well as the DOE to support schools. We curate teacher sets that get delivered directly to the schools so that they can use it in their classrooms. Along with project managing My Library NYC, I was really heavily involved in various committees, and that started with just working closely with people at NYPL that was part of the New York Library Association. And I was president of the Reference Adult Service section. And so that was my first taste of leadership, was being president of that. And I just love the way that we all work together for a common goal to really make the profession better. I was actually pregnant at that time. I took office pregnant, and I realized that I probably am not will take office any other time, because every time I take office, I end up pregnant and giving birth. Because then I was president of RAS, and then I became president of the New York Black Librarians Caucus. So when I took office, I gave birth, and I was president for that for 2 years, and definitely the best time of my life, other than being president of BCALA. But we had a really, really good time. We've had our first librarians ball, at the Alhambra Ballroom in Harlem. And yeah, it was just like, this is what we want to do. We actually gave Jason Reynolds his first library award. It was
Oh,
called,
wow.
oh yeah, it was called the Distinguished Author Award. So it was just good times. And so I will give a shout out to Richard Ashby, because he asked me to be his vice president when he was running for president for the New York Black Librarians Caucus. And I said, I don't know, like I want to do the work, but I don't know if I want to do it in that, official capacity. He was like, come on, come on, come on. And if anybody knows Richard, he's persuasive, So I did that. And then when he was running for office for BCALA, he says, I want you to be my VP. And I said, I don't know. and again, he persuaded me and I ran. But it's really been a wild ride. If I could say that I had like this clear path of how I got here, I'd be lying to you. It really has been just a lot of people and support that got me to where I'm at.
Well, listen, life works in mysterious ways, certainly. So with your youth track, so to speak, it sounded like early on, well, first off, did you start your career then in branches as a page, or were you in the one of the research libraries?
I worked, well, it's now called the New Yorkos Foundation Library. It has a new name, but it was called Mid-Manhattan Library.
Okay.
And
Yes,
I was
yes.
working there because I went to high school in Manhattan. So I'm out in Staten Island, and I went to Fiorello H. LaGuardia, woohoo, as a dance major. So I was, I commute. I was a student that commute. And
Yeah.
so it just made sense for me to work in the city. And so I worked right there for many, many years, even as a clerk and even as a trainee, I worked in the city.
Okay. Yeah, it's the Stavros, I think, the Stavros Library now.
Thank you. I was gonna say, I knew it wasn't Stephen. That's the library across the street. I didn't want to say it wrong. Thank you.
I remember those guys because they've been active with their philanthropy in New York City, and I was on I'm still on a board there called Poets House, and they were very generous to Poets House at one time.
I'm so used to saying SNFL, and I know I'm not supposed to say that. But there we go.
It's almost like Saturday Night Live.
There we go.
But then the youth thing, I mean, I don't know about you, when you were kind of coming up in your career, you see the public library and you see the academic, and there's college, and something must have moved you to say, I like this niche, I like this track, I want to continue working with kids. You probably were just a kid when you started as a page, but so what why did you stick with the public?
Because I was having a good time at the public library, honestly. But I did not, when I was in library school, I did not focus on youth. Okay. I took a lot of adult reference and management classes in library school. I thought I was going to be an adult librarian. And that's the God honest truth. I thought I was going to be an adult librarian. Like even when I was a trainee, I had an adult book club. I told you my first time being president, I was president of the reference adult service section. Like I was focused to be an adult librarian. And at that time, to be a senior librarian at the New York Public Library, you had to take a seminar. And when I was getting ready to graduate, the seminar that they had available was the young adult seminar.
Okay.
So I took this the young adult seminar, and then the following year, I took the adult seminar. And so then when they were placing me at a branch for to be a senior librarian, they said, you're going to go to the Port Richmond Library, which is not far from where I live, and you're going to be the young adult librarian. And I said, no. I said, I am an adult librarian. They said, you took the young adult seminar? I said, yes. They said, you're going to Port Richmond Library to be a YA librarian. And that was the best thing that ever happened to me. I mean, because I was reading YA, I looked about 11 teen. Like, I don't even know what adults, I don't even know how I did the book club, but I did have a very successful book club. We had about over 30 people on a Wednesday morning for the book club. But I got it. I fell in love with the teens. I fell in love with the kids, and I was just like, I must have been crazy wanting to work with these adults. So, and I stayed, yeah.
Some of us may know Lessa Palaio. She's just chatted in the box. Having fun is so important. So like you were one of these people who not only had fun, but is continuing to have fun. So let's turn a corner a little bit and talk about kind of leadership characteristics. Part of our program at the Developing Leadership for California Libraries is based on LAMA, which is now core of ALA. LAMA is the Library Leadership Management Association. They developed a list of core competencies for leadership. And they includes things like communication, emotional intelligence, teamwork, conflict resolution. So these are qualities and traits that we've built our program on, and we've always improving it. This year, we're building in equity and diversity into our program for the leadership program. You see leadership in people, people see leadership traits and qualities in you. I'm wondering whether or not you have any leadership traits that you find more appealing when you see or work with people, or you look at them and say, wow, I really like that way that person does X, Y, or Z. Are there things like that that are more important to you? They're all important, of course, but anything in particular that kind of jumps out at you?
Absolutely. So I admire the leadership qualities of Tracy Hall.
Okay.
She has a way of saying things that just ignites something in you. Her ethical leadership qualities just really helps everyone understand the course of action. And I just know she stepped into the role at such a challenging time. And I don't even want to imagine the stuff that she has to endure, because it's nice to be, recognized like this and acknowledged for your work. But when you're in the leadership role and not everyone is in agreement with the decisions you have to make as a leader,
right,
and they try to, interrupt the process, and they could try to attack you either professionally or personally. And that has happened to many people. I'll speak from experience and just speaking to colleagues from across the country. Because if you really are trying to make real change, not everyone is going to be on board. So I really, really admire Tracy Hall. I really do.
Yeah, we had a chance to interview Tracy last year, and you're right. I mean, going through what the changes that ALA has been going through the last year, and they've relied so much on their conferences for revenue, and now it's I have my hats off to her. Yeah. So let's then talk about your practice of leadership in your current position at NYPL. So how do you practice leadership? What are you able to do?
That's a good question. I'm able to do a lot, but not a lot, if that makes sense. So
Talk
at
to us about that.
NYPL,
Yeah, tell us about that.
At NYPL, I have the ability to, support the education work, because I'm the Associate Director for School Support and Outreach. So I have the ability to support my team and really focus on the education initiatives, because that's my role within NYPL. That is the department I'm in. What's great about being in the working with BCLA and being president is that I'm able to expand and really work on other things that interest me, because education, of course, is very important. I mean, I have two little boys, one who's 1 and one who'll be 9 in a few days. So education is very important to me. But just being able to really think about what's happening within the profession. I mean, it's a lot going on between folks wanting to ban books and the whole idea of so many libraries across the country not having school librarians.
Right.
just being able to be part of these bigger discussions for the profession, that's what's really, really exciting for me. And it just feeds me. It just feeds my soul to be able to do important work in New York. So I feel like I do outreach for New York City and beyond with BCALA, if that makes sense.
It does, you know, and I think I understand as well, having worked in New York City at the Brooklyn Library, you know, there's there are layers and structures that you have to work through, right? Whether it's the organization itself, your departments, your divisions, the union, and and then on top of that, there's the city council, and then on top of that, there's so I think I'm hearing you say, and if I'm wrong, correct me, that when you're working in BCALA as as its president, that you're able to take all of your skills and apply them in a way that has a much bigger palette, if you will. You can work a little bit more freely because you don't have those structures. Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly what I was saying. So like for BCLA, I have the opportunity to advocate. I could fundraise. I'm dealing with whatever the members say we should deal with. We need to support that mission. And NYPL, they have a fundraising department. Like it's like you said, everybody has their department in their role. And I love my role within NYPL. I don't want that to be misconstrued, because I want to be able to make sure that the schools know about the library's resources. I want them to know about all of the free things that they have available with their library card, whether that be check out books, and we don't have any more fines in New York. Woohoo! Being able to participate in programs. We have, Brain Fuse, online tutoring. I want for all of New York, because New York is a very expensive city, to know about the value of their library card, and being able to just continue to build and be able to just do other things beyond that. And BCLA has really has challenged me and has given me the opportunity to do that.
Yeah. Hey, we have a question here from Judd Carlman, and he wants to know, how can library leadership safeguard and/or create the kind of pathways that you flourished in, that supported you from a teen on a summer job to inspiring library leader rock star that you are now?
Oh, Judd is sweet. Okay, I will say that it's really important for us to keep those page positions. And I know that when we have library cuts, that's the first position that we cut. But that is, if I wasn't a library page, I would not have been a librarian, because I would not have known that that is a profession for me.
Right.
I mean, honestly, I think I would have hoped that I would have been dancing somewhere, but I can't sing, so I would have been on Broadway, but that would feel like my other side job, But it was, as a page, I had a supervisor, Gwendolyn Aku. And it wasn't like, okay, you go and you shelve these books and that's it. Like she spoke to the pages. She wanted to hear, like, okay, if we said that these books are going like out like hotcakes, it was like, oh, so maybe we should do some kind of display. She would let us help with the displays. Like it was just really like, you're thinking and using some creativity in the job. And it was along those lines that I had different supervisors that was like, oh, that is a good idea, and like encouraged it. So it's that helps keep people in the profession. Is also the fact that they had a librarian trainee program and was able to pay for me to go to school. And it was also the fact that they're having a budget to support you in being part of some of these organizations and learning. because that's a big deal too. I mean, professional organizations, if you're part of multiple organizations, that adds up really quickly.
Yeah.
And a public librarian is not making, a lot of money. So being able to say, you know what, you are a Y librarian and helping me pay for a year of being part of YALSA, like that just makes a big deal, because whatever I learn or read, I'm bringing that back to work. So I
Yeah.
think it's those things that will really help people flourish and make a big difference in their work.
I think that's a great point. We always talk about how can we get more people of color in the profession, and most of the folks who are people of color who are in the profession started out in a page type role.
Yeah.
And, their librarian, mine was Miss Moore at my middle school. And, I worked in the AV department for the library, which was just in the back room. There wasn't no department. But, she inspired me. And, I didn't realize there was this professional possibility. So, yeah. So I think what you're saying to Mr. Carlman is we need to continue to invest in support those who are already working for us as much as possible. Not to say we shouldn't recruit others, but many of them are just in our buildings currently.
Absolutely.
So, one of the big things that's happened, I think, in the last couple of years, which is a really good thing, is we've kind of become more concerned about and vocal for a variety of reasons about equity and diversity and inclusion in society as a whole. I'm not saying everybody's bought into it, but certainly in the libraries, that's become, one of the reasons I love librarianship is because to me, we're always embracing those real tough social issues, and we're trying to apply them in our professional life. So, for you, what ideas do you have for how leaders in our profession can further advance and embrace equity, diversity, inclusion, social justice? What should we be doing?
As leaders, we have the responsibility to call out wrongs. We have to call out the injustices. We have to call out what we see as not happening or what we want to see happen in our workplace. We have to identify problem areas and work with the appropriate people or departments to help in making changes. There are unfortunately some common problems that just being in the role that I'm in, that I'm seeing, and it's like bias in hiring, Black librarians not getting tenure, inequality in pay. Like at this time, I don't understand why library jobs are posting without the salary. Like we need to know this.
Right.
The discrepancy of library staff. So just even when libraries were starting to open and doing the stop and go, we heard from all of our, members, Black and brown library staff members who was saying that they were the ones out there having to go to the car and deliver library materials. So like all the diversity was part of the support staff, but librarians, the managers, boards, they're not.
Right.
So thinking about library programs, still, library programs are not inclusive. We have a IMLS grant for Black History Month, and there's still libraries who do not do Black History Month programming.
Right.
So just like providing learning opportunities for your staff, like I pointed out before, and again, providing the financial support to let library staff really consider about taking this on as a profession. I mean, as a leader, you can't ignore any bias in the workplace, because then you become part of the problem.
Right.
And it's hard to have to take on some of the things, because again, you don't want to be targeted or labeled, but that's what you took on as a leader. So you just have to do it.
And we're stronger in numbers in many ways. I mean, the caucuses that we have, or is the term caucus, all the groups that we have, it's been wonderful for me in my career, and I've been, around the block a few times myself. to see the rise of the caucus, to see 50 years, the Reforma, the Apala, Kala, all these organizations have just become stronger. And now in the last, was it 3 or 4 years, 5 years now, we've been doing JCLC, the Joint Conference of Librarians of Color. You know, all our voices are becoming stronger because of our networks and our affiliations. And I think that's wonderful news, something that, you know, when I was beginning of my career, didn't quite exist to the level that it is now. So let's talk about mentors. We talked a little bit about this earlier, and I find that the older I got, and I didn't realize that this was happening, but, you know, I relied a lot on people who helped me in my career and, you know, believed in me and provided me the support and encouragement. Now in your career, I'm sure that, well, you mentioned it, you're a branch librarian who kind of helped you out as well, listened to you and supported you. I want to talk about mentors and mentoring, and are you mentoring, and who mentored you, and are there things and tips that you would give to people?
Sure. So I had quite a bit of mentors, but I'm going to shout out 3. So Miriam Tullio, I hope I don't cry. I love this lady. She has always encouraged me. She's been super supportive. Like, she knows me from my clerk days, honestly. Super supportive of my work. Is just genuine. She would tell my mom that one day I would be her boss, and I knew that wasn't happening, but she gave me the confidence, really, and she's family to me, so I love her tremendously. Then there's Louise Stamp, my prayer warrior. You need somebody, yeah, you know, keep you lifted. She'll give it to you straight, no chaser. She's not a librarian, but she just recently retired, 41 years. She's worked at the library so long that she has like an honorary library degree at this point. And then I will also point out Stanton Biddle.
Oh, yes.
He knows everything. He knows everyone. Everyone knows Stan Biddle. He's a living legend. I mean, it's nothing in this library stratosphere that this guy does not know. And I mean, he's in New York, and he would come visit me in the office and help me just go over some BCALA financial things, go over IMLS things. He's just great.
That's great. And are you doing any mentoring yourself now?
I am mentoring my team. They will say I listen to them. I want to understand where they want to go, and I push. I'm a pusher. It's like I want to challenge a little bit, but I believe they appreciate it. They tell me they appreciate it. I mean, I think they feel comfortable enough to tell me if they don't, I believe. And then there's some committee chairs that I really work closely with, and I don't want to say that I mentor them, but we really we engage in some really great conversations around everything beyond BCALA.
That's great. You know, we have a couple questions here in the chat box, which is just blowing up with advice and links and other things. I want to read something from Tawana Hodge. She says, what advice do you have for library students and early career librarians who are interested in leadership positions, either in a job or the profession?
Okay, I would say, one, find a mentor. You need someone to be honest, with you.
Yep.
I would say take the initiative, find out what you need to know. Don't take a back seat because it's your career. And then I will also say be accountable, accept responsibility, whether you might have made a mistake in your career. I'm not going to say that this track of mine has always been 100%. I mean, when at the time that I was taking office for NYBLC, I was part of the another education department within NYPL was called Teaching and Learning, and they were disbanding that department. And I was pregnant, and they were like, so what do you want to do? And I was pregnant. I wasn't thinking about being a library manager. So I said, just, put me in a library on Staten Island so I could be close to home. And so I went back to being a senior librarian, which again, I was working at St. George. It had its own teen space, had a good time, but what it was taking me a while to get into management. I really was second guessing, like I should have maybe took on library manager position earlier on, but it would have been too much. I mean, but now I'm sitting here saying that, and I took office 8 months pregnant of BCLA. I was 8 months pregnant when I took office for this national organization. So I just think that, with time, age, experience, it was a good decision now that I'm looking back at it.
You know what they say, I'm not sure if I agree with this necessarily, but if you want to get a job done, give it to a busy person, right?
Well,
Sounds like you've been busy. And, speaking of busy, now I understand you have a book coming out soon.
We do have a book coming out. So
You want to talk about it?
I definitely want to talk about it. I want to make sure that I cover it all. So let me just bring it up. It's called The Black Librarian in America. It is coming out next month. So, and it's available for pre-order, but let me just find it online really quickly because I don't want to.
While you're looking, I'll read the title. It's called The Black Librarian in America, Reflections, Resistance, and Reawakening. And you are the editor.
Yes. So thank you. That was perfect time. So this book is commemorating our 50th anniversary and also the first publication of the Black Librarians in America Issues and Challenges. The goal for this edition is to expand the understanding of Black librarian in LIS. Okay. And so we broke the book up into 4 sections. One is covering our rich heritage and honoring Black library history, celebrating collective and individual identity, because and Tawana has shared this, and so many people I totally agree. And this, I wish I could have put more time into this during my presidency, because we're more than just Black. Because yes, we're Black, but you have people who are West Indian, you have people who are part of LGBTQ. So being able to differentiate within the caucus is something that we truly want to do moving forward. Black librarians across settings. And moving forward, activism, anti-racism, and allyship. And so that is going to be, that's what I want to make sure I saw. It's under Scarecrow and Roman and Littlefield publications. So make sure that you pre-order it.
Fantastic. Wow. So everybody got to order that book now.
Yes, order
it. That's wonderful. I don't know how you find the time to do these things, but that's wonderful. So we have an anonymous attendee here saying that sounds like you do so much for those around you. How do you manage to keep yourself motivated and to battle professional compassion and fatigue? Plus, you're a mother.
I'm a mother. I can't say that I always do a great job at that, and I'm gonna be honest about that. I do seriously crash, and Vice President Michelle Hayes can say that, because sometimes I have called crying, like, what in the world, But I look at it as I'm only president for 2 years, so I said I'll sleep after the 2 years, right? I mean, plus I have a baby, so I'm really not getting that much rest anyway. So there we go. But it's just the passion around the things that I'm currently working on. It's just like, yes, we have to do this. If it was something that I didn't really care about, I very, very easily could say no. Yeah. But like when members come up with the idea that Dr. Anna Ndumu and Dr. Chandra Walker, when they came up with the idea of the book, I was like, absolutely. When we're thinking about doing a leadership symposium, I'm like, yes. So it's like, it's things that I'm just like, yes, we got to do it. But if it is not of interest, like, I can't do it. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it reminds me of my question to Ray Pun last month, where same thing.
Oh my goodness, I saw that. Ray Pun, he has more than 24 hours in a day. I'm telling you, I was laughing when folks said, is he a robot? But he literally has more than 24 hours in a day. I totally believe that. I know Ray Pun from his NYPL days. I love Ray. Ray is good. And shout out to all our sisters and brothers of the NowCos, because we are stronger together. And I mean, we've collaborated on so many different projects. From they were part of the President's Program for NCAL. We had the LIS commemoration. I believe that was back in May. We did that together. So I mean, it's just, we gotta love the NowCos.
Yeah, yeah. So what's next for you in your professional leadership journey?
That's a good question. I'm going to be immediate past president, and I will look forward to supporting Nichelle for the next 2 years. And then I believe I'll have free time. So I'll just sit and imagine me creating my own library and hiring all my favorite people. So I hope you're available, Martine, because that's what I think I'll be doing.
You're gonna hire me?
I'll hire you. I want all the good people around me. There we go. And we take over the world. That's the ultimate goal.
Now that's a big responsibility. Wait a minute. So let me encourage folks to go ahead and submit any questions. We got a few more minutes left here before we conclude our session this afternoon. And by the way, I want to just comment on your honesty and your candor with everybody. You're just, you are there. You are who you are, and it's just wonderful to talk with you. Thank you for doing that. How about any questions, folks? Any other questions for? Here we go. What's your favorite book?
What is my favorite book? It's going to be. Is
Yours.
It okay? Is it okay if it's a children's book? Because that's what I've been reading a lot lately.
Sure.
Okay.
You're gonna pull it out.
I will pull it out. I don't want to say the name wrong. I thought I had the book right here next to me. I mean, but I have a gazillion favorite books. I'm going to be. One of them is the Wishes. I don't want to say the author's name wrong. I'm currently reading. What is the title? Because I don't have it in front of me. I don't want to say the book. Where is it? It's the Mahogany Brown's new book. Oh, here we go. I do have it right here. Currently reading Vinyl Moon by Mahogany Brown. And then I gotta give a shout out to the homie Jason Reynolds, because I don't know if you didn't get Stunt Boy. You gotta read Stunt Boy. This is a winner too. This is definitely a winner. Yeah, I had it. See, these books, I know the kids yes. That do it. My 9-year-old is not reading this yet, so that's why I hide it so they don't mess with it.
So Michelle wants to know what your thoughts are about the future of the profession.
Oh, the future of the profession. The future of the profession is up to us. We have to go out and we have to encourage kids to be librarians. And I know, even just doing school visits, and they be like, "Miss, I don't read," and I'm just like, you're looking at your phone, you're reading all the time. Unfortunately, because there's not a school librarian, it's not fostering that love of reading. And the fact that they're trying to pull all of these great books that kids can identify with, that's going to further the disconnect. So we really have to make sure that we get librarians in our schools. We really do. And the public librarians, we really have to support school librarians and schools and say, like, come on, if you don't consider yourself a reader yet, and I know every youth librarian can connect a child to a book eventually, anyone, then you get them with the programs. You get them with, like, well, you're into technology. Well, then we have this cool program. And I mean, we help students create their own game if they're into gaming, stuff like that. So it's kind of like making that connection. So it's like, okay, but if you're into technology, you're into gaming, this might be a career for you, because again, we are working with technology all the time. So that might be another way to, like, get their ear. But we have to work outside of the box. Like, it's great for us to collaborate within the profession, but we also have to hit up other organizations that's not, thinking about libraries, and have them start thinking about them. I mean, we worked with Netflix. Netflix did that bookmark series, and BCLA was part of that to help with the activities for that. And they actually were a top funder for our national conference. So being able to just really get ourselves at the various tables is a really big thing that we need to do as a profession. And shout out to the executive board for agreeing, the executive board of BCLA. We were in the special Race in America edition for USA Today. And that really helped us connect with a lot of different organizations and people. So yeah, we have to do something different, because if we keep doing the same thing and expecting something different, what do they call that? That says that's the definition of insanity, right? Yeah.
So are there any, we have another question here from Tawana about, are there any new projects, fun projects on the horizon for BCALA that you want to share?
Yes, Tawana. Let me make sure that I don't leave anything out. So we have our book launch. We're having a tour. We're making it virtual because we were trying to have it like a hybrid. We were going to have the kickoff happen at New York Public Library, but because of numbers going up, we're just going to have it all be hybrid. So we're going to do a book tour for the Black librarian in America. And we'll be doing this at public libraries. We'll be doing it for our different affiliates. We'll be doing it at universities. So if you are interested in having us do a workshop on our new book, that will definitely be on the horizon. Then in April, hopefully, it's just really, we're working in limbo with COVID, but we are looking to have a leadership symposium. And then we have our strategic plan that we're also working on. So when we have our general membership meeting, we'll have Jamise Curtis Banks come in and talk to the members to talk about the different steps that we're going to take to start the process of updating our strategic plan. So we have, those are the three things that we're getting done in the next 6 months. And I know Nichelle is going to come out with just even more. So that's what we have on the horizon until June.
That sounds like a lot. And Michelle's going to inherit some exciting things that you've helped put together for the association last couple of years.
I can't sing Nichelle M. Hayes praise enough. So everyone knows she's the peanut butter to my jelly. My kids love her. The baby TC blows her a kiss, and I'm just so, because you don't always love who you have to work closely with. And so I'm just really happy that we have an amazing working relationship.
That's great. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us? Something I haven't covered that you'd like to make sure that you get in?
I do want to actually talk about Sylvia Sprinkle Hamlin,
Yeah, yeah.
who just recently passed away. She really a rock star within the profession, honestly, and her her absence will be missed in the profession. When Nichelle and I, we had a phone call, and it was with some of the female presidents of BCALA, and it was with Ms. Sylvia, it was with Wanda Brown, Gladys Smiley Bell. And I will talk about everything that we spoke about over the phone, but it was such great advice,
Yeah.
and she's just amazing. And I also I contacted her. I want to say it was around the national conference before she spoke to me about her stepping down from being chair of EJ Josie. I mean, she did a great job, and she had the incoming chairs ready. But when I was speaking to her, I said, Ms. Sylvia, tell me a fun fact about you. So, because I just wanted to know more about her. She's just great, you know? And so she shared with me that she once owned a cosmetic studio
Oh,
with about 35 beauty consultants. And the product was Fashion 220 Cosmetics. And I was like, oh my goodness. I mean, I would, first of all, if you've ever seen her makeup was always on point. So it made sense. But it's just like, I'm telling you, certain people that just seem like they have more time than everyone else. And she just really, between all the awards that she received and just chairing NCAL, chairing EJ Josie, she just did so much for BCALA and for the profession as a whole. So I just really wanted to acknowledge her. We've lost some members at the end of December and coming into January. So it just another person that I have recently spoken with that has left us. It was a BCALA member, is Kenya Flash, and she's actually an author in the Black Librarian in America. And she was actually supposed to do the panel in New York. And so she had contacted me, and we were going to have lunch. And she says, oh, can you give me a tour of NYPL, you know, like the stack, stuff like that? I said, of course. So it's really a hard time. So I really do want to make sure that we all take care of ourselves, because you just never know. You just never know. So I send much love and prayers to everyone who has lost anyone over the past year, anyone close, because I know that our members are really feeling the loss of these two individuals.
well, I want to express my sympathy to their immediate family, but also to the Black Caucus family as well for those losses. From what I read on the listservs and all, it was a shock and sudden. You never expect when these things are going to happen, certainly, because we never know. But I understood, based on the outpouring of sympathy and concern on the listservs, that both of these individuals will be sorely missed. So my heart goes out to all of you.
Oh,
Remind me
and
a
I'm
little
so
bit of a,
sorry. I'm so sorry, Nichelle. And there, if there is another BCALA member, yes, and very close friend to Nichelle M. Hayes, but she's part of the BCLA family. So I'm sorry to have not said her name. And Nichelle actually mentored Ms. Lauren Freeman, who just recently passed away as well. And her service was yesterday. So thank you, Nichelle, for reminding me. Yes.
Thank you. Well, folks, we're getting ready to wind up our conversation. And I want to again thank you so much, Shauntee, for sharing your insights, your humor, your love, your wisdom with all of us. I look forward to the day when I can thank you in person. Maybe it'll be in DC, who knows? But this has been a wonderful conversation. I want to thank everybody who posted questions. I think this is one time where I've had the chat box blow up the way it has here. So people have a lot of things. People are sending you a lot of love and hearts and kisses. And so you take care. You take care of your family, take care of yourself. And on behalf of the Developing Leaders in California Libraries Project, which we'd love to make a national program, we want to say thank you. And thank you, Christine, for your background work for us today, and for all of you who attended. We will see you next month. We're still working on a speaker for next month, but soon we will have Lessa here on the other side of the camera with us. So again, Shauntee, my hat's off to you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. It really was a pleasure. It really was. And like I'm telling everyone, Martine, this should be national, because this is like the library's, he's like the library's Oprah. This program, everyone is watching, everyone knows. So yes, it should be national. I'm plugging it for you. Yes.
With that, we'll say goodbye. Thank you.
Thank you.